Hey there, and welcome. If you're running a small business, I get it. Cybersecurity can feel like this huge, complicated thing looming over you. But it really doesn't have to be. In just the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down into a super clear, manageable guide that's going to make your business a whole lot safer. Let's dive in. So, let's just be real about what's at stake from the get-go. A cyber attack isn't just some small headache. It can literally be a threat to your company's existence. And look, that's not to scare you, it's just the reality of why getting a handle on this stuff is so incredibly important. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, come on, I'm just a small shop. Why would a hacker ever waste their time on me? Well, that's a super common thought, and it's exactly what we need to tackle first. Here's the thing you've got to understand. Attackers don't really care how big your logo is. They care how strong your locks are. And a lot of times, they see small businesses as the path of least resistance. They know you're juggling a million things, you probably don't have a dedicated security team, and that, unfortunately, makes you a very attractive target. And this right here, this is the question that just stops so many business owners in their tracks. You hear about phishing, ransomware, all this crazy stuff, and it just feels totally overwhelming. But here's the good news. The solution isn't trying to defend against everything all at once. It's about having a smart plan. And that plan, it actually has a name. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework. Now, this was developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and it's basically the gold standard blueprint for building your digital fortress. It's a proven, organized way to think about and manage all your security efforts. Instead of just a random, frantic checklist of things to do, this framework gives you a powerful way to think about security. What I love about this is that it shows you that security isn't just a one-time thing, it's a cycle that's always running. You know, the biggest mistake businesses make is they only focus on that protect piece. But a really strong defense covers the entire cycle. So let's quickly walk through what these stages actually mean for you. First up, you've got govern. This is the big picture, the 30,000-foot view. This is where you decide, okay, who's in charge of this stuff? What are the biggest risks to our specific business? And what are the basic rules of the road for everyone? Next, we have two steps that probably feel the most intuitive. Identify and protect. It's simple, right? You can't protect what you don't even know you have. So this is all about making a list of your important stuff, your laptops, your customer data, your key software, and then putting the right defenses in place to keep it safe. But let's be realistic. No defense is ever going to be perfect. And that's where detect comes in. Think of this as your digital alarm system. It's about having things like antivirus software that are constantly on the lookout, ready to spot any suspicious activity and sound the alarm the second it happens. And finally, respond and recover. So, what happens when that alarm actually goes off? What do you do? Well, this is your fire drill. It's the plan you made ahead of time so you can contain the problem, fix what's broken, and get your business back up and running as fast as possible. Okay, so that framework gives us the strategy, the big picture. But what are some things you can do right now? Let's zero in on 3 really high-impact defenses you can literally put in place this week to start building that digital fortress. First things first, passwords. I know. But the single biggest mistake people are still making is using simple, guessable passwords. The absolute best practice today is to create a long passphrase made of unrelated words. Just look at the side. A quirky phrase like horse, purple hat, run is just infinitely stronger and more secure than password 123. And believe it or not, it's often way easier for you to remember. Okay, next up, I just want you to look at this number for a second. 99.9%. According to Microsoft, that is the percentage of account hacking attempts that are blocked just by turning on something called Multi-Factor Authentication, or MFA. That is a mind-blowing level of protection from one simple action. And MFA is literally everywhere now. It's that code they text to your phone, it's a pop-up on an app, it's using your fingerprint. If an account offers it, and I'm talking especially about your email and your bank accounts, your default move should always be to turn it on. It is the single most effective thing you can do to protect your accounts, period. All right, for our third high-impact action, let's talk about your router. I absolutely love this analogy. Your router is the digital front door to your entire business network. But the problem is, a lot of businesses are leaving that door completely unlocked because of a feature called UPnP. So UPnP stands for Universal Plug and Play, and it was designed to make life easier. It lets devices on your network, like a new printer, automatically open up a connection to the internet without you having to do anything. But here's the huge risk. If malware gets onto just one computer, it can use that exact same convenient feature to call home to a hacker. basically opening up a secret backdoor into your entire network. So naturally, this leads to a very direct, very important question for your business's security. Should you disable it? And the answer is a huge, flashing yes. For pretty much every single small business out there, turning off UPnP is one of the fastest and biggest security wins you can get. It slams shut a wide open door that hackers are constantly looking for. That tiny inconvenience of maybe having to manually set something up once in a blue moon is a tiny, tiny price to pay for this level of security. Okay, so we've covered some really powerful ways to prevent attacks, but what happens when, despite all your best efforts, something still goes wrong? Well, that's where your what-if playbook comes into play. Look, having a plan for when a cyber incident happens isn't a sign that you failed. It's a sign that you are a prepared, professional business. It's just like a fire drill. It makes sure that when a crisis hits, everyone knows what to do, which means less panic and a lot less damage. A huge part of any good plan is simply knowing how to prioritize. Not all problems are created equal, right? As you can see here, a lost employee device is definitely a low-severity event you need to deal with, but a full-on data breach? That's critical. Understanding this difference helps make sure you don't overreact to small things or, even worse, underreact to the big ones. And this doesn't have to be some giant 100-page binder that collects dust. An effective plan can be really simple. You just need to answer 4 basic questions. First, what's our main goal here? Second, what's the full scope of the impact? Third, what's our step-by-step strategy to get back to normal? And fourth, what's our plan for communicating this to the right people? We have covered a lot of ground: the threat, a strategy, and some very concrete actions you can take. So now, let's bring it all home with what is easily the most important part of all, your next step. You know, all this information is great, but it doesn't mean a thing until you actually put it into action. So my one question for you is this: what is the one security action you will take this week to make your business safer? Are you going to go create a strong passphrase? Are you going to finally turn on MFA for your email? Or are you going to log into your router and disable UNP? Just pick one. Do it, and you will have made a real, tangible improvement to your business's security. Thanks so much for joining me.